So day 5 here in Peru, a big day. Over at Senoritas, rounds of repechage, and then everyone surfs over here at Caballeros. We might have at least 13 heats and even up to 20 heats today. 3 yesterday, 20 today. I mean, we just hope our guys go bananas today, because this is the day where you can win or lose the contest.
So today was a pretty big day for our whole team. Everyone on the whole team surfed at least one heat today. And it started out with Kulia on the right over at Caballeros, and she did really well. She got a 6.5 and I think something around a 7, maybe a 7.5, and pretty much smoked that heat.
She was in the right spot the whole time, it seemed like, and was surfing really well. So I was stoked for her, and yeah, she made it through easily. After Kulia was Quincy.
Each time you get a completed wave, you start to feel more confident. And by the time you get halfway through the heat, you should just be ready to go to town on a wave, you know?
Quincy gave us a little scare in the beginning. She didn't catch many waves, and she felt a little sick this morning, but she pulled through at the end. She got 2 really good waves, actually, so that was good. She came through and made it, and yeah, she was awesome.
After Quincy came in, I think there was a heat, and then heat between her and Lakey.
Don't paddle out there, don't risk that, because all you need is a wave with a little bit of wall and a wedge on it, and you'll just blow the crap out of that thing.
Lakey paddled out and pretty much took the heat by command.
I got an 8 in the beginning, and then after the 8 I got a 7. And I don't know, I felt like the 7 I surfed better, but I don't think it was as long as a wave and as big as the 8 was. But yeah, I don't know, the inside of the right is just the best spot for sure. And it's kind of like Rincon, like my home break. So it's actually really nice. I'm excited for me, Connor, and Parker, because we surf Rincon and rights all the time, just from growing up in Santa Barbara. So yeah, it gets really bowling and fun on the inside. That was my plan, just to kind of surf the outside, but just set it all up for the inside, and I ended up doing that. So they tend to score high on the longer rides. Yeah, I made it through, so I'm stoked.
Yeah, it was the first heat at the repechage, and going into it, I was riding my swallowtail, and on my first 2 waves, it almost like skidded out, and it felt a little like I was almost bogging on the turns. So I got first, thankfully, and then but we decided to change up my boards.
The first heat I watched was Colin in round 3, I think, in the repo, and yeah, he was the heat before me, and I was just kind of getting ready, and I was kind of checking him out at the same time, and he was surfing good and got a couple of good scores, and yeah, he made it, and yeah, I was stoked for him. Into my heat, I was just I was almost like, I was in a good mindset. I was kind of just calm and just ready to go and stuff. In my heat, I thought I did all right. I mean, the waves weren't too good in my heat, and I got like, I think 2 4s or something like that, and everyone else, it was kind of a pretty slow heat, and at the end, I didn't really know what I really did, but I was just kind of sitting on green, just like a tiny bit, not really anything special, but I was just kind of watching him, and this pretty good looking wave came in, and I was deeper than him, and he was on my shoulder, and he tried to go, and I guess he like bailed his board, and he went over the falls, and I didn't even touch him, and I got an interference, and that's what cost me, and if I didn't have the interference, I would have made my heat. I'm so pissed. Like, first of all, I didn't think that was an interference, and just the fact that I would have made the heat if I didn't have that interference is just so frustrating. But I'm only 13, and I have a couple more years in this, so it was a good learning experience for me, and hopefully I can do better next year.
First up in the under 16s was Taylor.
You know what you're surfing, it's just, you know, big hacks.
Yeah.
But make sure you're connecting all the sections.
Okay.
You're surfing really good.
Thanks.
You'll own this place, man.
Taylor started out the heat really well. I think he got the first wave of the heat and backside over on that right. He was surfing really well, really vertical. And I think his first wave they gave him 5.83, something like that. And I actually thought it was going to be a little bit higher, but it was a good start to the heat. He had a really tough heat, and he made fast work of the right. And I think he ended up getting second in that heat to Solely Bailey won, but he surfed really well.
After Taylor was then Parker, and Parker had a really good heat. He got second as well, and surfed really good and smoked a couple guys. It was nice. I remember Parker got like a high 6, and he has such like a fast backhand. I like watching him surf backside. He surfs really well. It's probably because he grows up surfing rincon, so works.
Yeah, my heat was up about an hour after Parker's.
You're going to want to get in, and you're going to have to really, throw it in the lip, do its blowtail, raise the performance level.
My heat was a really good heat. The Peruvian kid ended up winning with like a 13 total. And Ezekiel Lau from Hawaii ended up beating me by like a .06 or something really small. It was a really close heat. So I ended up going down into the repecharge. I was pretty bummed. I mean, I would have really liked to make that heat, but I lost. I had to get my mind back set and just make sure I go put a good heat together for the repecharge heat.
Right the way through your guys' round, it's going to be all high tide. So you're going to have to really, flow and finesse. You can't be doing turns like off the end. You want to be kind of in the lip to do them.
After Derek's heat, Luke was right after that, back to back, and Luke surfed really well. His waves, it was really hard right then during high tide, and his waves didn't have very much lip, but he surfed them super well and ended up getting a couple 5s. And got second in his heat too, which was really good. So he was kind of the start of our little roll in the under 18s. I was 2 heats after Luke, and my heat, I started out good with a 6.17, and then it's really high tide then, and kind of it's tricky. Everyone was sitting real deep and kind of pushing each other off the spot a little bit. It was really hard to get waves. I was trying to get a backup wave for a while and didn't come up with much. I only ended up with a 3.6, but luckily that was enough to squeak through in second place. So I was stoked to get through that heat because it was a tough one.
My heat was after Connor, and I've been watching all the heats all day, so I was getting like real fired up and got up early and surfed, so I wanted to kind of just like flare up in my heat, and ended up getting like this weird double up wave that I didn't know it was gonna do what it did, and it like doubled up and ran through the whole inside, and I ended up getting, I think, a 7.5 or something, maybe 7.17 or something like that, and I was really stoked to get 2 good scores in that heat and make it through.
After my first heat in the morning, I surfed at Senoritas around 12:50, and I decided to switch boards because the following heat I was getting out, and I felt a big difference in my surfing just the first couple waves I got, but I dropped to 3rd, and I was kind of out of position when the sets were coming, and I wasn't able to get to the left, and it cost me, so I ended up placing 3rd and losing out of the event. I'm definitely disappointed about losing, and I wanted to make it further, but I guess everything happens for a reason, and so now I'm team cheerleader.
Round 4 of the rep recharge about an hour later, and then my heat over there was pretty good. I got like a 7.5, and like I didn't have that great of a backup. I had like a mid-4 or something, but I got through that heat, so I was stoked. It's a longer road, but there's still a chance to the final, and I have the opportunity to be taking out a lot of guys, so hopefully I can kick out a lot of the other country's guys. I watched Colin's heat. He was the last heat of the day. He had a pretty good heat. He had a really gnarly heat. There's 2 Brazilians and South African kids, so he ended up getting second. The Brazilian kid went off. He got like a 9.6 or something like that, and like a 7.5. And then Colin got 2 6s, I think, and made the heat. So he knocked out a Brazilian and a South African.
Well, it's the end of a long day out here in Peru, and it's been a tough one. We lost Nikki Weissens and also Kanoa Igarashi, but everyone else in the Pacsun USA surf team is alive and well going into the second last day of competition. We're going to keep our focus on making it through heat by heat. We won't be looking at the rankings because we're shooting for Saturday. The final day is meant to get really big, and we want to have our guys out there charging.